exciting to be here today. Very exciting to have us all connected. Okay. So Jordana, just so you know, I can't hear you. Lindsay, I can't hear you.
Go ahead, Nadia. You may start now. We cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Great. Well, hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here today on this very special day as we celebrate the United Nations World Creativity and Innovation Day. And I have to say, what a fantastic opportunity to don't let any of us stop us from coming together, no matter what's going on. And I have to say, this is where we're truly embracing the 21st century technology, modern technology, and really letting communication flow in order to keep ourselves informed and educated for the better. So I'm just really honored to have been asked to speak today and share the story of fashion and sustainability in connection to Swarovski and what we have been doing in that arena, in particular with the United Nations Office of Partnership and also with the help of the UN SDGs, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So creativity and innovation with the framework of the SDGs in mind are more important than ever, as we all are demonstrating the resilience right now during this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And I have to say, I really feel that it's made so many of us, all of us, actually look back and reflect on what our values are and what really drives us as people and what drives us as a corporation. In terms of Swarovski, this year, we are so excited to be celebrating our 125th anniversary. And you know, looking back at those 125 years of a private company, which was started by my great-great-grandfather, we're so proud to see a testament of what can happen if you hold true to your values. In our case, that is hard work, diversity, inclusion, and certainly consideration for people and for planet. My great-great-grandfather was called Daniel Swarovski. He came from Bohemia, which was back then part of Germany, now it's the Czech Republic, with intention to develop and invent the ultimate crystal cutting machine. And at the very early beginning, he certainly had sustainability and sustainability practices very, very deeply rooted in his heart. And he actually moved from Bohemia to Austria, to a little town called Wattens, because of this very strong mountainous stream, which he then used to power his machines with hydroelectricity. So back then he understood that nature was crucial for our manufacturing process. As mentioned earlier, he came to Austria with the intention to create the ultimate crystal, but he really had in mind to democratize luxury. As he was looking around in 1895, he realized that actually diamonds were only worn by royalty. And he thought, no, actually every woman should know what it feels like to wear that diamond. So he created a product that was similar to a diamond, but a lot more affordable. So I, as a woman, you know, who certainly appreciates the product of crystal in jewelry, I appreciate my grandfather's consideration of the end customer, namely the woman, and how she might feel wearing the product and how it might empower her in wearing that product. So Daniel certainly ensured that the crystal manufacturing was held in the highest standard of quality, while also making caring for the environment and also his employees his top priority. So having been this very sustainable company at our core, today I'm very proud to say that our focus areas of our sustainability initiatives focus on women empowerment, water stewardship, fair partnerships, conscious design, and sustainable innovation. All of these values have certainly honored Daniel's legacy, which then prompted us to also develop the Swarovski Foundation 8 years ago, where we have really strived to focus on the areas of environment, human empowerment, culture, and design. And whatever we're doing with the foundation certainly dovetails back into our sustainability program, but also ultimately ties back into the business. Swarovski has also developed a water school 20 years ago, which is still active in 7 countries. We're in Africa, India, South America, North America, China. And there we have educated over 500,000 young people really about the use of water, the various different issues associated with water, whether it's scarcity, pollution, and simply the cherishing and the use of it. Now, furthering these principles, I must say that the United Nations truly has been a tremendous role model for us, an anchor, but also a guiding light, not just for us, but anyone who advocates the global sustainability and conscious luxury within manufacturing or retail. I believe that there are too few governmental regulations in terms of environmental manufacturing processes, human empowerment, and equality. And it's been therefore that these principles of the Global Compact have been so important for Swarovski to roll these out internationally via our HR departments. So certainly we appreciate the human rights that are emphasized with the Global Compact, the consideration for human rights and the abuse that might be going on, and really noticing that and flagging it. In general, absolutely no forced or compulsory labor, the abolition of child labor, the elimination of discrimination across the board, no matter what country, gender, race, age, and certainly the fact that there should be a precautionary approach to environmental challenges, and also that companies should have a greater responsibility towards environmental practices. We've certainly strived for principle number 1 to develop more environmentally friendly technologies. It's so doable. It's just a matter of putting your intentions to achieving this goal. And then finally, business should work against corruption in all forms, including extortion and bribery. We do owe a lot to the UN for their leadership in this arena. And besides the UN Global Compact, we've also really appreciated the sustainability goals. And I really hope that these 70 goals that we see here will become a poster that is known to every human being on this planet, every child in any school, any employee in any company. And we're certainly trying to be an advocate for change, for positive change, by educating certainly our employees about these 17 goals, our customers, and all of our stakeholders. Over the last few years of having worked with the UN, we've zoomed in on supporting 9 of these goals. Number 4, quality education. Number 5, gender equality. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. 8, decent work and economic growth. 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 14, life below water. Number 15, life on land. And goal number 17, which is the partnership in general. And we certainly feel that in this arena, it is really not an area of competition. It is an arena of collaboration, information sharing, partnerships, because certainly all of us have one common goal in mind, and that is to protect the planet that we live on, and certainly protect the people, our employees, families, customers. In terms of the Swarovski business, we are focused on water stewardship, women's empowerment, fair partnership, conscious design, and sustainable innovation. And it aligns with these 5 goals that we have on the right side. And it's just required a slight shift in what we do, a shift that actually did not cause any disruption, but it actually was a very natural evolution. And being a company that's incredibly engineering based anyway from day one, Daniel Swarovski was an innovator. He was a craftsman. He was an engineer. We just find that so many of problems are actually a matter of creative problem solving. And we truly do believe in human intelligence to come up with solutions. to a lot of these issues. In terms of the foundation, on the left here, we see the goals that we're supporting, and on the right side, we see the goals that we're supporting with the water school. So as you see, everything dovetails, business, charity, sustainability within Swarovski dovetails into each other to fully synergize what it is that we're doing. In terms of our manufacturing, in particular, the latest chapter, which is manufacturing fine jewelry, we have embraced the use of created diamonds, which we find have a lower environmental footprint than naturally mined stones. Of course, that's another big chapter, how are stones mined? There are a lot of mines that are mining in a very sustainable way that truly do protect nature and the employee. But for now, while there's still so much room for improvement, the answer to Swarovski's quest for sustainability within jewelry is the use of created diamonds. And we also appreciate the tremendous amount of innovation that's involved behind the creation of a created diamond. We team up that created diamond with fair trade gold, recycled gold. And in this instance, we're working with a little mine in Peru where the miners are actually alpaca farmers, and the proceeds that they make from the gold mining goes back into their alpaca farm. We've had the wonderful honor of working with our beautiful ambassador, Penelope Cruz, who shares our values of protecting people and planet. And here we see her having designed her own jewelry line using fair trade gold and created diamonds as well as synthetic gemstones. On this slide, we see Penelope Cruz with her crystal jewelry collection, and I'm very proud to say that for Ate Swarovski crystal jewelry as well as Ate Swarovski fine jewelry, we are certified by the Responsible Jewelry Council, which is a very important audit that we find to undergo and to make sure that we are reaching for the right goals. We are hitting the mark in terms of being compliant and implementing sustainable practices. In terms of our manufacturing facilities, here on the left, you see the image of our Austrian crystal manufacturing facilities, which has been there since 1895, making the crystal. And on the right side, we have an image of our jewelry manufacturing facility in Thailand, which we have built ourselves. And there in our Thailand manufacturing plant, we're certainly trying to implement the Swarovski standards for taking care of factory workers and our employees there. So here we see that we do pay a very close attention to our value chain, which spans from product design to product development all the way to distribution, logistics, the production, the sourcing of our materials, and then to our experience with the customer. And in terms of the customer, it's really important for us to communicate our sustainable products to the customer. We find more and more customers do ask about Swarovski sustainability report, which we have produced now for the 5th time, and it is found on our website. But also we find that our customers not only are interested in our the sustainability and recyclability of our product, but also of our packaging. So we have a big packaging program that also has eliminated plastic, uses paper, uses recycled paper, certainly for Atelier Swarovski. Another element that has been incredibly important, as we see on this slide now, is our partnership with the UN Women Empowerment Principle. These are 7 principles. Again, we've rolled these out internally via our HR departments. The UN always likes to say, because these are women principles, it doesn't ever mean that it's exclusion of men. It is really an inclusion of every man, and it is really striving to improve mankind, its values and principles in general. So we certainly appreciate this partnership. And can you just go back to that slide, Lindsay? Again, here we certainly appreciate the establishment of corporate leadership for gender equality, the treatment of all women and men fairly at work, certainly supporting the human rights and non-discrimination. We strive to ensure the health, safety, well-being of all of our workers. We promote education, training, and professional development of women internally, but also via our foundation. And then the implementation of enterprise development and supply chain and marketing practices, which empower women, is absolutely important. And then we certainly promote equality through community initiatives and advocacy. And we like to make sure that we publicly report and any progress that we have achieved in this gender equality. Certainly within a corporation, we have felt the appreciation of our colleagues of these initiatives and measures, and we have felt an increase in employee engagement in this arena. We have been so excited to create a program of Netflix film, actually, for our water school. And you can find that on Netflix. It's just called Water School. But it was really important for the producer of this film, which was Dean Terry Schwartz from the UCLA Film of Theater, Film, and Television, to actually focus a lens on women, on little girls in particular, and how the issues of water affect them, and how you see that in the film. You have certainly, we can see how these young girls, as they're learning about the issues of water, are actually gaining an increased sense of confidence and self-awareness, simply by learning about the environment and being made aware of what they and how they as individuals really matter and count, and how they can make a difference in having a positive impact. Now, the Swarovski Foundation is also focusing very much on female empowerment, and we support organizations such as Women for Women International, Mothers for Mothers, and directly we've empowered 12,500 women globally, reaching 57,000 community members, and this was last year in 2019, and we're very excited about actually continuing all these efforts this year and the years going forward. In our workplace, we have started to offer unconscious bias training, which is incredibly important, and we want to create an open culture that embraces men as well, men, women, people from different cultural backgrounds, and certainly position them equally. It helps us recruit and retrain the best talent from all parts of society. And the more we are conscious of our biases, the more we can maintain a rich and diverse workforce. And often, as the training program states, it is very unconscious how biased we are. And this program just has led to a greater awareness and mindfulness about ourselves and about our environment. We do mentoring, and it supports policies and practices also around parental leave and flexible working hours, which also has actually had an impact on the working quality and work output within our colleagues. And I think especially now in this day and age, we have all had to learn to work from home. And we also perhaps see that there for the future might be a different way of working, actually, that is more embracing for a more human life. And I think we've all seen a decrease. Obviously, we've all gained more time by the decrease in working commute. So I think it's a very exciting chapter going forward. Now, just very quickly, going back to the past, we have, so we're so proud that we have a very rich history in the fashion world. We really started in 1895 by supplying the fashion community with our crystal. And here on the left, we see an image of the couturier Worth. He's a British couturier, was based in Paris. And he was also the dressmaker for Queen Victoria. And it was wonderful to see her gowns embroidered and encrusted with crystal, while at the same time, she was wearing diamond jewelry. On the right side, we have the famous Monsieur Christian Dior, a wonderful couturier who my grandfather, Manfred Swarovski, worked very closely with. My grandfather back then commuted between Paris and Wattens, Austria. It took him 3 days each way. But for him back then, it was very important to have that very close relationship to the designer in order to be able to create a product that was truly relevant to the designer. So fast forward, keeping up that tradition, we've had the honor to work with the wonderful Alexander McQueen, who certainly has brought a lot of innovation to Swarovski's manufacturing of the crystal component within fashion. Alexander McQueen really relaunched Swarovski within the fashion industry until it was in the late 90s. And we've had just such an honor and fun to work with fantastic other names like Jean-Paul Gaultier and so on, Brandon Maxwell. Now fast forward to wonderful emerging talents such as Kevin Guimanier, who is really a new generation of the new fashion designer with sustainability at their center of their business strategy. And as we see here in these pieces of Kevin Guimanier, who's based in Paris, you know, the fact that something is sustainable does not mean a compromise in glamour or luxury at all. And we have been very considerate about communicating the messaging of sustainability in our partners, such as the CFDA, which we have worked with for 17 years. It's been really like, you all know, the CFDA awards are like the Oscars of the fashion industry. And it's been also really amazing to see how sustainability has become more and more of an important agenda for the CFDA awards, but also, for example, the British Fashion Council, with whom we've worked with closely, as well as ANDAM, which is the French equivalent, and also the German Fashion Council. Within these awards, we have instilled the Swarovski Award for Positive Change. Here we have the wonderful Jan von Fürstenberg presenting the award. Vivienne Westwood on the right side, it's amazing what she has done in terms of environmental practices within fashion. And it's certainly those individuals who we want to acknowledge and celebrate and really promote as role models within the fashion industry. Here we have Jay Hall giving Vivienne Westwood the award. And then another demonstration of sustainability in the red carpet was our collaboration with Stella McCartney at the Fashion Awards in London last December. Stella's work in sustainability has been formidable, and we're celebrating her fashion here together with Atelier Swarovski's fine jewelry implementing the created diamonds. So this was our statement, once again showing sustainability can be so beautiful, can celebrate creativity within fashion, can celebrate luxury, but in such a conscious way. And then, of course, with our new Swarovski Conscious Design program, what we're doing here is we're using upcycled crystals. So these are either reused crystals or crystals which we usually would have remelted because it was the tiniest little scratch on it or the tiniest little bubble in it. And Swarovski just has such a strict quality control. Sometimes I think we are our own worst enemy, because does a little scratch or a little bubble make such a difference? But that's just our nature. As I mentioned earlier, our value is to one of our values is the ultimate quality within our manufacturing. However, now in this day and age, you know, not companies are suffering, and this is really another super opportunity to really implement upcycled crystals. Here, I just wanted to mention some of the tremendous schools that we're working with, and in which we are supporting sustainability programs, because we're thinking that the student of today will be the designer of tomorrow. So this is a good starting point for a more sustainable designer, namely the student. And let's teach them about sustainability. Let's take away the intimidation of how to implement sustainable practices. And I just would like to thank all the fantastic partners we've had at St. Martin's, Parsons, LaSalle College, and so on. And again, I just really think it will be innovation that's going to take us to the next chapter of sustainability. The most recent initiative that Swarovski has launched, again, has been with the UN. It's called One by One. It's our conscious design initiative, and it's also together with the Slow Factory. And on this platform, we're coming together to showcase creativity towards the sustainability development goals. And we are certainly developing our longstanding support of the fashion industry. And Here we're working with amazing partners such as Philip Lim. We are teaming him up with the researcher Charlotte McCurdy. We are teaming up designer Mara Hoffman together with the Workforce Development Program, Custom Collaborative. We have connected designer Telfar Clemens with the scientist Diane Shiroz. So here the idea is to take the ultimate creativity of the designer and team them up hand in hand with innovators of the use of more sustainable materials. We have fantastic mentors for these little study groups. We have Amber Valletta, who you all know.
Nadja, sorry to interrupt. We need to wrap up right now because we're running late already. So
okay, absolutely. So I think, Lindsay, if you can help me go a little bit faster through the slides then. So please stay tuned and see what we're doing on this program. You can find it on the website. And then a fast forward in terms of COVID-19, it's will be interesting, yeah, to see how the entire industry will be evolving, not just in terms of how we're actually manufacturing things, but also how we're communicating creativity within the fashion industry. I just want to say it's been amazing to work with the UN on this program, but also it'll be amazing to see how the various different fashion houses, but also publishing houses will communicate the continuous creativity on a digital scale, and never halter creativity by also embracing what we have here in front of us, namely modern innovation. So this is just where I'm wrapping it up, and you know, just if you go back to the last slide, I think Swarovski is really trying to educate our consumer and give back. If you fast forward one slide, Lindsay, please. Where we're connecting what we're doing with the foundation, also what we're doing with our retail, with the Nature Conservancy.